Welcome to your 10-minute manager toolkit. Today, we're going to cover simple advice that you may have heard before. If you haven't heard it before, this is good stuff. This is gold. But I'm not just going to tell it to you. I'm also going to explain to you how and why it comes about and how we can fix it, how we can adjust what we do rather than blame people. Curious? Well, let's talk about it. Let's go. Have you ever had advice so good it sticks in your head for decades? I still remember the time and the place and the person who told me this. I can't remember her last name. Her first name was Jill. And what she said that was so profound, which is the topic of today's discussion, because there's so much to talk about, so much to unpack. And it's just one of those things you should never forget because it's so easy to. And it's so true, and that is that people will assume that they are doing a good job unless they are told otherwise. Let's unpack that. Let's start by talking about you. You think you're doing a good job, don't you? You think that you're good at your job. You probably haven't thought about it that much, but it's just this underlying assumption. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. You're not second-guessing yourself, you're not checking yourself, but it's probably been a long time since someone explicitly, specifically verified you as competent. Whatever exams you passed, they were some time ago. You might have had feedback along the lines going, oh, good job, thank you. Oh, no, really appreciate that. All those little things that say you are doing well. But those are offhand comments, and it's most likely been a while. So what this means is that you are not constantly being reinforced. You are not constantly being told that what you are doing is right. That you're sort of assuming that things are right. Things are going well. You're doing the right things in the right places. If anything, because there's no feedback to the contrary. Let me slightly tangent with another nugget of gold, absolute mind candy idea that another colleague of mine, 10 years after the other one, co-worker by the name of Daniel, he said to me something that someone had told him. And again, this is stuck in my head because it's so useful. It explains so much. And he says, imagine behind everybody's head is a thought bubble, one of those invisible things. And the thought bubble reads, I hope they don't find out that I don't know what I'm doing. For some people, that thought bubble is ginormous. For some people, it's really small, and everybody else in between. And this idea ties into imposter syndrome. The idea that we do not think that we are good at something, we are an imposter, faking it, and we live in this perpetual fear that someone will turn around and say, do you really know what you're doing? Hang on, what? Are you sure you're competent? Are you sure you are capable? We live in fear of that. Some of us extremely so, some of us barely so. So both of these little nuggets of insight, these little pieces of mind candy that we can think and chew and digest and get stimulated by, they're all well and good, but what does this mean in practice? Let's talk about that because that's important. Some other day I'm going to come back to Hanlon's razor. I need to because it's also equally good. The upshot of Hanlon's razor is that people don't do things wrong on purpose. They generally do things by accident. This combines nicely with these two ideas, is that people are not intentionally doing the wrong thing. They are doing what they think is the right thing. They are assuming they are doing what they ought to be doing because no one has said anything to the contrary. So this is what most employees are doing. They're ticking along, doing what seems to be right. They don't hear anything that says that's wrong. Therefore, they assume, oh, well, I seem to be on the right track. That didn't give me any negative feedback. Sometimes they do get negative feedback, but sometimes that comes too late. Sometimes people are pretty set in their habits. They're pretty fixed in their ways about how things have gone. They might have done things for a certain way for years, for decades even, and never had any negative feedback. And that bank of no negative feedback builds a pretty solid wall against any feedback they do receive that they are doing the wrong thing. People will do what they think is right, and if they don't get corrected, they're just going to start to believe that is the right thing, such that if they then ever are told that it's not quite right, or it's not correct, or it needs to change, they are resistant to that. But they are not impervious. Some people will change quickly when they get negative feedback, when they are told they are not doing a good job. Most people, half the people, a good chunk of people will fix that. They will adjust. They were ticking along thinking they were doing the right thing. Oh, I'm not doing the right thing? Okay, I can fix that. You keep telling me this, I will gradually change. Most people, unless they are truly deluded and truly obstinate, will eventually change in the face of feedback. But if there's no feedback, people will just assume that they are doing the right thing. A quick final point before we wrap this up. People are biased in what they do. There is a certain tendency amongst all humans to do what we like to do or what we are good at. There is many a person who would much rather be socially interacting than doing the back office admin, so tend to focus on what they like and avoid what they don't like. Alternatively, there are some people who don't like people interrupting them and would rather get on with the admin that they need to do. People will always move towards the things that they enjoy and away from the things that they won't. There will always be job creep as people just tinker and adjust and morph the job into the job that they would rather do. Second final point, people aren't necessarily totally comfortable assuming because they know that they're assuming. They are, depending on the personality, probably a little bit worried. As much as we assume, we are also prone to worry. We can also be a little bit worried that we are not doing the right thing. We think that we're doing fine. No one's told us we're not doing the right things. But on the other hand, no one's ever told us that we are. People sometimes will worry that maybe they're going off in the wrong direction if they're not told that they're heading in the right direction. So assumptions and assuming that you're doing a good job can also be a bit concerning as well. When we are assuming we are doing a good job, we worry that we're not, might be doing the wrong thing. All right, enough with the add-ons, enough with the extras on the end. This is what you need to do. You need to give people feedback, small, regular, hey, good job, hey, that's fine, hey, next time do that differently, hey, that wasn't quite right. All those little micro adjustments, as timely and as reasonably and as practical as you possibly can. Don't hold them up. Don't bundle them all up into a big deal. Try to avoid that once a year. There's some things about your job that I'm not quite comfortable with. Adjust in small ways as you go. That gives people the feedback immediately and timely that they are not on the right track, that they need to adjust. Because if you don't give them those little nudges in the right direction that they are doing things well or not quite right, they will go off track or they will worry that they have gone off track. Either way doesn't suit us. Feedback and tinker and nudge. I So I feel like that was 3 lessons in one. I feel like that was a 3-for-1 deal. Anyway, hopefully that made sense to you. Hopefully you found that useful. Hopefully that helps you understand how that whole, they should know what they're doing, I shouldn't have to explain that to them. If you're interested in how I can help you more than through these podcasts, one, have a look at our websites. We've got 2 websites, different focuses for different services. One is Managingmedical.nz, focused on healthcare, but also quite suitable for anyone managing white-collar service professionals. Alternatively, if you're a little bit more blue-collar, a little bit more industrial, have a look at Managingtradies.nz. Alternatively, if you're interested in something a little bit more cerebral, you want to hear a more big picture, complex issues podcast, I also do another podcast focused for HR people, but not exclusively. It's called Your 12-Minute HR Lesson. If you found this intellectually stimulating, have a crack at that. You might find it even more so. This is a little bit more how-to. Anyway, I'll catch you next time.